In this day and age of digital sleuthing, it's actually very hard to find movies that haven't been picked apart to their core by uber fans looking for every little detail. I mean, it's what we've based a lot of our business on as well, after all. However, sometimes new information is revealed about well-loved and very well-known films that make you see the project in a new light, and so what we've done is scour the most recent rumour mills and hunted down some truths for you lovely, lovely people. I'm Jules for WhatCulture.com, your one per list wonder, and these are 9 recently confirmed truths that you didn't know about famous movies.
Did you know that What Culture also does a board game? It's true, we do. And you can purchase it at shop.whatculture. Who knows, I might even sign a copy or two to devalue them a little bit.
Number 9. Tim Burton's severed head was almost in The Nightmare Before Christmas. 25 years ago, Henry Selick and Tim Burton teamed up for the greatest ever mashup between Halloween and Christmas. The Nightmare Before Christmas might have been drawn in Burton's image, but it was Selick who made it, and he recently revealed some tidbits on the film for its 25th anniversary. It turns out there was supposed to be a grim cameo by Tim Burton himself in the film's final moments, or at least by his severed head, which would have been used as a hockey puck that one of the witches would fire at the camera. Unfortunately, one of the producers was worried that Burton would be upset, and Selick didn't bother to ask, much to his regret. God, could you imagine that? That bird's nest right up in your face. Ooh. Number 8. The Princess Bride meant a lot to Andre the Giant. The Princess Bride is an exceptional film, pulling together comedy, drama, and endlessly quotable scenes into one beautiful package. It even had strong nods to the wrestling world courtesy of Andre the Giant playing one of the lead roles. Now, according to a recent documentary made about the big man, Andre loved filming so much because of how everyone treated him as an equal. There weren't any locker room politics or anything like that on set, and so when the film was finished, he was more than happy to share it with his peers. In HBO's documentary, they revealed that Andre would invite fellow wrestlers over to his house, provide them with dinner and booze, and then ask them to watch the film with him again and again on VHS. And upon finishing, he'd ask them what they thought about the film and his performance, and this would continue again and again. It's a truly touching moment from a mountain of a man who spent the remainder of his time slapping baby oil off Macho Man Randy Savage and others as well. Number 7. The Matrix code originates from a Japanese cookbook. One of the most iconic aspects of the Matrix franchise is, of course, that flowing green computer code which has been such a pervasive component of both the movies and their marketing. You could see the codes of women in red dresses, guns upon guns upon guns, and if you look very closely, your mum's porn back catalogue and what I did to her with an aubergine and a very confused Catholic priest. There's my one per list. It's well known that the code is a jumble of Japanese, hiragana, katakana, and kanji characters, but the precise origin of the code has been a mystery for over 2 decades. Last year, however, the code's creator, Simon Whiteley, dished the dirt on the inspiration for the design, and it turns out the original code came from his wife's Japanese cookbook. Whiteley scanned all of the book's characters into a computer and digitally manipulated them to achieve the snazzy end result. Whiteley then declared, "I'd like to tell everybody that the Matrix code is made out of Japanese sushi recipes. Without that code, there is no Matrix." Number 6. Universal shut down the 40-year-old virgin because Steve Carell looked like a serial killer. Though Steve Carell has firmly proved himself to be a capable dramatic actor in recent years, back in 2005 he was still labelled as a funny man. And as such, the tone of his performance in the broad studio comedy The 40-Year-Old Virgin caused quite a few headaches over at Universal. The studio rushed the movie into production after hearing that writer-director Judd Apatow's pitch was pretty good, though temporarily halted shooting just 5 days in after Universal executives saw early footage and felt that Steve Carell's character was too unsettling to be funny. Carell said, "The dailies of my character just looked too creepy. They said I looked like a serial killer." Carell and the rest of the crew had to plead with Universal to let production resume, which they eventually did, and it's just as well, because the movie released to both rave reviews and a mighty $177.4 million box office haul. Number 5. Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder got married for real while filming Bram Stoker's Dracula. During the recent press tour for Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves' new romantic drama Destination Wedding, Ryder confessed that she believes she accidentally got married to Keanu Reeves on the set of Bram Stoker's Dracula back in 1992. Ryder claims that while shooting the scene where Mina and Jonathan get married, director Francis Ford Coppola hired a real Romanian priest and shot it in a real Greek Orthodox church. Because Coppola filmed a master shot of a wedding scene, that's a full, unbroken take where the entire scene is performed, Ryder and Reeves literally had an interrupted, not-so-fake wedding with a real priest in a real church. To make things even funnier, the scene was apparently filmed on Valentine's Day, and upon learning of this revelation from Ryder, Reeves simply quipped, "Oh my god, we're married?" Coppola himself backed up Ryder's claim, adding, "When we were all done, we realized that KEANU and WINONA were really married as a result of this scene and this ceremony." Considering how many of their fans continue to ship them in real life, isn't that just lovely? Number 4. Heather Donahue feared the Blair Witch Project was a snuff film. In the lead-up to the release of 2016's Blair Witch reboot, the star of the original movie, Heather Donahue, was interviewed about her experiences working on the now iconic 1999 original. She confessed that she had some concerns about the mysterious, lo-fi nature of the production. "I brought a giant knife with me because everyone who loved me was telling me, you should not do this. This sounds like a snuff film. Why are you going into the woods with a bunch of guys you don't know?" And while it does sound like an average weekend in Gateshead, I can understand why she would be a bit worried. Considering that Donahue was working with a no-name cast and crew and was the only prominent woman in the film, the concerns were certainly reasonable. Donahue added, "My mum was like, please get their social security numbers. We really don't want you to do this. Nobody wanted me to do this." It was a good thing that she did though, as it definitely wasn't a snuff film, but did make a killing at the box office. Oh, puns. I've still got them apparently. Number 3. Scooby-Doo originally had an R rating. Now this one is just weird, as we all know that Scooby-Doo is about as kid-friendly as entertainment gets, right? Well, for the 15th anniversary of the live-action Scooby-Doo movie last year, writer James Gunn, yes, of Guardians of the Galaxy fame, confirmed that the film originally scored an R rating from the MPAA. Gunn said of his experience making the movie, "I'd written an edgier film geared towards older kids and adults, and the studio ended up pushing it into a clean-cut children's film. And yes, the rumors are true, the first cut was rated R by the MPAA, and the female star's cleavage was CGI'd away so as not to offend." I'm sorry, what? They CGI'd away some tits? Well, apparently this is true, and it wasn't the only bit of raunch in there, as there was a line that referred to oral sex that the MPAA really didn't like. Now, Gunn might have not got his version of Scooby-Doo made, but he did have this to say in closing. "Such is life. I had a lot of fun making this movie, regardless of all that, and I was also able to eat, buy a car and a house because of it." Nice. Number 2. Every scene in Inception featuring Michael Caine is reality. So, if you're anything like me, then you A, owe a dangerous amount of money to the Triads, and B, also love Christopher Nolan's Inception. And one of the best things about this film is how it plays fast and loose with what is and isn't reality. Well, that wasn't until very recently when a ton of confusion was cleared up by Michael Caine. He said this: "When I got the script of Inception, I was a bit puzzled by it, and I said to him, being Christopher Nolan, I don't understand where the dream is. I said, when is the dream and when is it reality? He says, well, when you're in the scene, it's reality. So get that. If I'm in it, it's reality. If I'm not in it, it's a dream." Oh, well, okay then, I guess that puts an end to all the debates, right? It totally won't at all, will it? And number 1, Padme almost killed Anakin in Revenge of the Sith's original ending. Though Revenge of the Sith is certainly the best of George Lucas's 3 Star Wars prequels, there's little denying that it's an incredibly rough around the edges climax to Darth Vader's origin story. And as a result, there have been mass speculations about whether alternate versions of the film exist that might end up patching the holes shown in the final release. Well, it turns out that the initial ideas for the film were very different to the finished projects, as highlighted by Lucasfilm's concept artist Ian McCraig, who stated that Padme played a huge role in an unused ending. While the final film ends up painting Padme as a rather pathetic, agency-free victim of Anakin's rage, originally she was supposed to become a rebellion leader after witnessing Anakin's turn to the dark side. The original finale on Mustafar even featured a beat where Padme holds a knife to Anakin's throat and very nearly kills him, though ultimately relents. Annoyingly, this ending was changed fairly late in the game, and while Padme was still going to die in the end thanks to a very angry Anakin, it would have made her into much more of a badass than the way that she actually went out in the end. And there we go, those were 8 recently confirmed truths you didn't know about famous movies. Let me know down in the comment section below if you found any more, as I'd like to make more of these lists. I do love the little details that make these films so gosh dang interesting. Anyway, as always, you can go follow me at RetroJ with a 0 over on Twitter. As always, I've been Jules, you've been awesome, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!